Merry meet all. It is Samhuinn, or wintertide here in the southern hemisphere. Mr. Frigg, hello puppy. Oh, here we go. Oh, hello my babies. You sooner? Oh, my poor girl. No, my little waddles. What are you doing? You gonna give me a hand? Are you trying to give me a hand? What are you doing? Oh, go papa. Mr. Frigg. Mr. Frigg. We're gonna do a bit of a nursery recording today. Hey, nursery, greenhouse. Oh, you little pecker. Oh, you're shocking. My ducks like to eat the succulents. Fargo, the chicken wire. It's not how I'm going to have it, long term, but it's just a buffer in term while I finish other things. Hey, yeah, so you don't eat all my succulents. Juicy succulents, yeah, quackadees. They love to help me. I'm hoping like this weekend coming, or Friday, even starting Friday, I want to get so much done in here. I've got to do a big clean up. And one of the things I love about having ducks is they love to help me garden. Don't you, darlings? Yeah. They're just like awesome little helpers. They follow me everywhere and... Oh, it's the intention that counts, isn't it, puppies? Yeah. You miss me? I missed you. Yeah, I missed you very much today. Yeah. I got back not long ago. Anyway, let's go into one of the nurseries. Oh my gosh, I've got nursery on the brain. One of the greenhouses. Oh, I've got some watering to do. I've got a few acquisitions, a few buys. I just want to take some things into the nursery. I've got a bit of a I've got some wiring there just across so the ducks don't go through here. So there's one area I can just section off for now. I'm just amazed I'm really happy with the location of this greenhouse. Perfect. I've got a second one to put up. I keep saying that and then something happens and I don't get to put it up. And there's one of the other students, they've got their seedlings here. I'm going to the second greenhouse. I am actually growing in ground and on shelving, both, with the focus being in ground. And I'm going to propagate some of the veggie patch sort of plants in there amongst herbs and I'll put their seedlings down there too because they need to come out those pots pretty soon, kind of pushing it. And when they're ready they can come and take their seedlings. Sorry, I was carrying water. Yeah, my rooster does not like my boots. He fans out his neck as it goes into attack mode when he sees my pink boots. Oh, days. I hope everyone's well. Sorry I've been inconsistent with posts. Just life. Oh, let's zip this up from inside. Keep some of the warmth in here. It's beautiful. Perfect temperature in here. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. So anyway, we've been started doing propagation in our class, and so for those of you who know me from my old channels before they were taken down and my work over the past 20 years, my focus has tended to be on my on plants with ancestral connections and that sort of thing. Just checking. It's just, no, not a bug, just little dents in the leaf. I tend to grow a lot of hedgerow, I guess, plants. So, the tradition of old crafting. because it's an ancestral thing. Australian plants, to be honest, I like the smell of eucalyptus oil, and that's all I knew about. One of the things I am pretty appreciative of, or there's a slug in here somewhere. Yeah, oh no, that's a kale seedling. A kale seedling amongst the nasturtiums, and I would say it's bare necessities. So it's different. These are kales, different types of kales. But continuing on what I was mentioning before, so Australian plants have not been, you know, and it's kind of cool because a lot of people were excited about Aussie plants that have grown up talking about them. I haven't had that, so for me, I'm a bit like a kid in a playground, like it's all new to me, which I kind of appreciate in a way because I get to enjoy that new. Ooh. So anyway, without further ado, in propagations, what have I propagated last week? So I have a bush of Vietnamese mint, and I did cuttings of that. So there's Vietnamese mint. My rooster loves it. I've got a big bushel growing on the outside in a pot outside the run. I'm going to grow as much as I can everywhere. It's one of those filler herbs I really love. I propagated 3 cuttings from the bushel I've got. The bushel of Vietnamese mint I've got, or hot mint, is actually grown from seed. So there's that. So this one here is actually, so rosemary is in the Lamiaceae family, or mint family. This is an Australian native Westringia. Now that's a genus. I don't know which species it is. I need to key it out. So, you know, horticultural practice, you got a lot of keying to do when you're learning about what plants you're dealing with. So this one here is basically an Australian rosemary. So one of the things I'm very keen to do going forward with my planting and ideas on doing landscape is actually marrying especially the plants used in the magical or crafting tradition of us Europeans, marrying them together with the native Australian plants. I don't feel like there should be one or the other. Now, Australian plants do need more acidic soil, but I especially when you do use some permaculture principles where you have, you know, different zones within the same area, also how you companion them, I can't see why they can't work together, and I think they will and can help each other if you know what you're doing. You can't just slapdash it, but I'm very keen to be doing that. So as you know, I'm renting and I live in a very big block, front and back, and I'm really keen to get so much going, native and other. So I've got English box in the greenhouse on campus. There's like 6 in there with root hormone, 6 without, so we're sort of like seeing what will, the results will be different with each. So there's 12 there. I might do some more cuttings because I'm actually going to mark out short hedgerows around the eucalypt trees, around the centre tree at the front, which I need to ID. I haven't ID'd it. So I'm going to use the English box, but I'm also going to use native shrubs as well. So I'm really keen to do understories. So I just hope my landlord and real estate agents behave and allow me to do what I need to do. I'm very much, as a renter, I'm very much of the mind of I like to leave my mark behind with what I plant and try and bring back the natural world into a concrete slab, or the urbanization, bring back some of the nature a little bit. And after here I just want to be out in the sticks. So I was thinking this year that I'd be going for my license and getting a car, but no, it will be next year. It's just too much. The course is too much, also because the social aspects, I struggle with that, with some conflicts of personalities and stuff like that, and when you're used to being on your own and that sort of thing, it's sort of something you to work through. But I'm very excited to mix in. So this is a rosemary. This is another one I propagated. This is from the campus, the Gilly Street campus. So it's a prostate rosemary. So it's spreading and low. The other one I propagated, but kind of because when I did propagate it, basically it was a cutting because I used it in doing plant ID for an assignment, so it was kind of touch and go. So I might just go and get some more cuttings for the sake of propagation. I usually always have a pot of rosemary no matter where I live, and this is the first time this year that I've got none, because when I moved, the rosemary I had sort of died on me. I sort of ran out of time in taking everything with me that I wanted to. Sort of last minute moving in the middle of lockdown was not fun. So I don't know, this one might be sort of I mean, if I tug a little bit, it feels like it's rooted, but I will do some more cuts just in case. So they're rosemary, so prostate, and then the Australian native Westringia. I will ID and key out what species it is. Or I was checking with one of the teachers, she was saying that some of the species, like, they can go either way. So you some of them, like, not saying this Westringia in particular, like just some of the Australian plants. I'm pretty sure it's the same with other plants too. Sometimes because the species of a plant is a combination of two parent plants, that sometimes it can be either way what it is, unless you know from the very beginning of growing from seed what species it is. And sometimes you can only tell by looking at genetics, literally, and getting, you know, microscope out and things like that. So I will definitely key this out though. So I've got 6 in here, and I've got 6 in there, 4 in there. So these are Westringias. This is Pride Madeira, Echium candicans. A lavender, again, is another plant that I usually have with me. This is the first year I've not had a lavender and rosemary with me, which is so surreal. This is a cutting from Plant ID, so I didn't do this cutting for propagation purposes. On that day, we were sort of like, the teacher was sort of like walking off, and I didn't really get to get everything done I wanted to do, but I will obviously intend to make some cuttings. So look, these are new leaf growths on the hot mint that I propagated. So nasturtiums. Now, you know, where I am is interesting because someone was saying to me, "Oh, we can't get the nasturtiums going because of the frost." I personally found some nasturtiums are more hardy than the others. I found the India, the red, Princess of India or whatever India, I've forgotten the cultivar. I found them actually to be more sensitive than some of the other nasturtiums. I think it's worth growing a few different varieties of nasturtiums, but I am intending to grow my nasturtiums to be hanging from pots inside the greenhouse so I can access them all year, whether it's frost or not. And then after the last frost, which is just before the vernal equinox here in the southern hemisphere, that's when I'll put them out. Because yeah, being here, Ballarat region, it gets pretty frosty bix. There's more hot mint. So the other Australian plant that I did cuttings of and propagated is the decumbens, Correa decumbens, and it's got a common nickname of the Australian Fuchsia. So I'm actually going to companion the Correa decumbens with the Fuchsia that I've actually got potted and in-ground in the plant bed of the Dunes Isle. So I've got my crabapple profusion there. These trays of seedlings, including the silver beet, is actually going to go into the ground of the other greenhouse. This greenhouse is close to the house, and I swear it's a consideration where you put your greenhouse. You know, it's nice on a nice day, but when the weather's shitty, when it's muddy and it's wet, and you know, if you've got your greenhouse on the other side of the yard, the chances of you getting into it and doing what you need to do sort of gets a little bit low, unless you really have to, or my plants are probably suffering, or you know, I need something. I think having a greenhouse pretty close to the house, like that window there is actually my den, where I have got the flat screen where I like to bust out my yarn and you know, knit or crochet away as I've got something playing in the background. And my greenhouse is right here. I can hear what's going on in my greenhouse, and my bedroom window is just here. So outside my bedroom window I can see my chook house as well, so it's like I'm sleeping at night with my greenhouse right next to me, and my rooster and his ladies, and my ducks are sleeping in the house, so we're all tightly knit. It just makes me feel good, makes me feel comfort I guess, having nature that close that I love. So this is more Correa decumbens. There is a Correa is it reflexa, this one here. So there's a couple of more of Correas here that I've done cuts with. Now I should have planted and propagated them last week. Time is what it is. I'm going to do that now after I do this recording. So there's two different types of Correas there. I'm pretty sure this is reflexa. This one I'm not 100%. The leaves are a little bit different as well. So definitely want to do that after I finish this recording. So back to cuttings. Yeah, so that's all the cuttings. So I've got the Westringia, the Australian native rosemary. I've got the Prada Madeira, or the Echium candicans. Some lavender. I want to get some more. I've got some prostrate spreading, low spreading, and this rosemary also waterfalls, so it's a nice, I think it's a nice tie-in plant. I like it on the edges. It's quite pretty, in you know, in the same way that the nasturtiums like to go up and fall. I like that waterfall sort of effect. I don't like seeing hard scape edges that much. So my hot mint, Correa decumbens, rosemary. I'm not quite sure how it's going to go. This is actually, when I keyed it, it lent to the rosemary, so they've changed the name now. So it was Rosmarin officinalis, and now it's Salvia rosmarin, and then your cultivar. So I'm pretty sure this is Majorca, but it could be the remembrance one, which is also pink. I'm in all this, I want to actually draw up my own keys for identification within all the plant families, and what I'm intending to do is put these keys in a laminated A4, laminate them A4, and then just, you know, use a whiteboard marker when it comes to keying something out, so that way I can keep reusing that very same. Ooh, is it? No, it's fine. Then I can keep using that very same plant key. So for those who aren't familiar, so in horticulture we use plant identification keys, and we use things such as the leafage, or the foliage, the leaf shape, the venation, the fruit or the seed, the flower, petals, the corolla, and in scientific terms we use that to ID what a plant is. And you know, it can get tricky because there's some plants that have hundreds of species within the same genus, and so anyway, it is overwhelming, especially if you're dealing with a family of plants or a genus of that family that you're not familiar with whatsoever. But I mean, that's the difference between horticulture and gardening, isn't it? It's like the horticulture is more the science part of it, which is I like. So while I'm here, so I've got kales. I need to prick out these. These are seedlings grown in all together. So I need to basically prick out my seedlings and then grow them in individual pots. I am a very big consumer of kale, not just for me, but my animals as well. And I, again, usually have so much kale growing all year round. This has been quite a difficult year for me. I have not had the amount of green and around me and the amount of food that I usually consume, and I can't afford to buy fruit and veg in the supermarket, to be frank. It's just too much. So I really do rely on growing my own and being vegan as well. You know, well, people's like, where do you get your protein? The same place that animals get it, the green. You know, if it's not necessary to kill it, then why do it? You know, like, nature's given us so much to pick from, and we're omnivore. We can, if we need to, we can consume that stuff if we need to, but if we don't need to kill an animal, then why do it? You know, like, I don't know. We're not the only animals on this planet. We act like we are when we act like we're the most important, and, like, you know. Anyway, I digress. So I also did some cuttings of some succulents there. Now, one of the teachers was saying when you do cuttings of succulents, don't water them straight away. Give them a couple of weeks in the right potting mix, or the right mixture, you know, media, I should say, and give them a couple of weeks and then water them. They will take to root a lot better. I think there was another reason, I can't remember. Anywho's, I better get my shit together, stop recording, and get some stuff done before it gets dark. It's starting to get dark. Oh, and there was a couple other things too. So I got my hygrometer finally. Woo! I need to just get a few more. And so I've got one in here, and then I've got a normal, well, an old thermometer. So I want to basically put one hygrometer per plant shelf. So I want to get a couple more, so when I do my readings, there's going to be a deviation of readings depending on where the shelves are, and also what time of the year. So I want to start recording that. So I want to get 5 more in here, and then get 4 more for the second greenhouse, which will be in ground. And I'm going to do a little bit of extra research on hygrometers and thermometers in the greenhouse. When I get to that point, I will share what the dealio is and what I'm doing and why. If you're into the science aspect of plants or horticulture, I finally got this book that we've been using on campus, and it's Name That Flower. So stoked to finally have my own copy. I got it last week when I got my new computer. Woo! I am actually going to get a second computer backup and a laptop for on campus. So I'll do the laptop first and then get a second computer as backup, so I'm not caught short. I basically bought a refurbished government computer. You know, I like that because it means I'm not wasting resources buying something new. It's still got a warranty and everything. So basically they've used an old government monitor and PC, and they've cleaned it out and reinstalled software and that sort of thing into it. So while I'm in this junction, I will be getting a laptop as well for in class, and then later on a second one as backup. I also need to, on my list is to find someone who supplies hay, because I'll be using hay to store my bulbs. I do have some bulbs I want to store away, and I've got a kitchen trolley there which I'll be doing the whole hay in a box with my bulbs to sleep over winter. I've got some liliums, I've got some gladiolas, and I've got some candle larkspurs as well that I want to dig up from my pots and put to bed for winter, so if you like, or you know, also I just sometimes leave them in their pots over winter and they come back at spring anyway, but I can just free up that space in the pots for other things while they sleep during winter. But anyway, that's it from me. A little bit of a rambly, not rambly, just a little bit over everywhere post of where I'm at in my greenhouse and seedlings and plants and related topic. I hope everyone's keeping well, and I am intending to share a little bit more info, especially on the native Australian plants as we go along, especially for those of us who don't really know much about them. Australian native plants, even though I live in Australia and I've been here quite a while, they're still quite relatively new to me, and I'm looking forward to marrying them with the plants from my native countries. So happy times, fun times. Yeah, let's say goodbye to the duckies. Well, I'm not saying goodbye, you're saying goodbye to the duckies. Hello my babies. Bella, Bella, Bella. Ooh. Oh, hello. Whack, 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 whack. I love the boys, how they do their whack, 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 whack. My babies. Oh, Suna. Look, look, look. Oh, whack, 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 whack. Oh, darlings. I've got so much replanting that to do. But anyway, I'm going to go now. Second greenhouse there. I'll do the frame as well before I finish off tonight with everything back here. So I got seedling, well, do those cuts of Correas. I want to get some more Brassicas going, the cabbage. I've got some Copenhagen, giant, massive, basically, cabbages. I want to get the frame at least up now. But without further ado, I'm off because I'm busting to go to the bathroom. What is it about sometimes sitting in the greenhouse that makes me want to go to the toilet? Blessed be Mary Part. I hope everyone's keeping sane. And in the southern hemisphere, hope you're having a wonderful frosty Samhuinn or winter's tide. In the northern hemisphere, I hope you're having a nice warming of the summertime or Beatana. Blessed be, and Mary Part.